Oh,
How you doing, Garrett?
I still feel like crap.
You were wasting away in Margarita. Well, you were attempting to waste away in Margaritaville.
I didn't even get a buzz, but you know what I got? A hangover.
Which is such a wild thing that you got a hangover and threw up, but never got buzzed.
I just can't. Maybe you have to be born in like the 1950s through early 1960s to handle these type of drinks.
That or you have to be young again, which I think you proved your age.
Yeah.
Anyways, we'll get into it. Welcome, everyone, to the Fine Dining Podcast, the search for the most mediocre restaurant in America. I am your host, Michael Ornelas.
And I'm your host, Garrett's Work.
And this is the podcast where we're looking for the most mediocre restaurant, a measuring stick, a bar, a point of reference. When you're trying to figure out what is good, what is bad, you gotta know what's perfectly in the middle. So we're looking for that 5.000. Currently, I've found it. I gave Applebee's a 5.00, but
I went 5.04 on that. It's still the closest.
It's still the closest. It's a 2-man rating system. So we both got to agree. So Applebee's sitting at a 5.02. The search does go on. And this week we decided to go to Jimmy Buffett's Margaritaville, a place where we've been before.
Oh, yeah, when we went to Cinnabon.
Yeah, it was the only table available. We kind of stole the outdoor patio of a Margaritaville table.
And we had the most nightmarish music mashup possible.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Island beats and dubstep.
What a great mix. So when we're rating these restaurants, we're trying to find what has the most mediocre atmosphere,
service,
and food. You got to get all three of those things. So that's our gimmick. That's what we're out here trying to do. And
I have a headache.
Garrett has a big headache. We'll talk about that very shortly.
Fine dining party of two.
Our table is ready, but real quick, we do have a Patreon. We just put out an episode where we reviewed the entire food court that Garrett and I met in. We ate a different food item from every single restaurant in the food court. Here are some quick highlights from that episode. It seemed like you wanted to hurt yourself with what you got at World Market. Do we just want to come out and say it?
Yeah, I got shelf-stable, jarred hot dogs.
You're a disgusting man. You're like, literally, you're going to raw dog it.
Yeah, I did.
You're just eating raw dogs.
The spice was the only thing that distracted me from eating what was potentially
disaster sushi.
We interrupt this broadcast to deliver some rather unfortunate news. It's a bird, it's a plane, it's fish. Disaster sushi is upon us.
Yeah. So I guess
my intestines are fucked right now.
God, you look so awful.
Keep this.
I will. So yeah, if you want some more awesome episodes, the party continues over at our Patreon.
Fine dining party of two.
Okay. Yeah, we're coming.
Thank you.
Your table is ready, follow me. Have you tried our chicken breast? Serving pancakes and ribs, I recommend the spaghetti. We're here to satisfy, not to impress. Your table is ready, complimentary butter and bread. These walls have road signs, knick-knack, cowboy hat, good luck cat, autographed guitar, some crap from your city. Behold the tchotchke of mediocrity. Fine dining, just fine dining, fine dining. 2 letters on the sign are shining. Neon flickering, irregular timing. Identify the perfect 5 out of 10. Fine dining. Fine dining.
First impressions.
We drove separately because
it's halfway between where we live.
Do you want me to? Well, that's not why we drove separately. It's not that it's between us.
Oh, you were worried about multiple things.
I basically said, no nudity, no touching in all caps. And I had a, you must clean up your own vomit or pay to have it cleaned up if we drive together. And your response was, I'll drive separately. It was an unwillingness to commit to this promise.
Oh, no, because first you're like, if you touch my dick or I see yours, you're walking. Same with assholes. I'm like, okay, so no dick. No asshole.
And then
deal.
And I was like, wait. No, there's so much more I would want to put into that. I didn't realize that was all legally binding.
No, and I'm like, I'm not the one that started out all specific instead of throwing out a no nudity and no touching rule.
To which I responded, no nudity, no touching in all caps. Anyways, we drove separately. Your girlfriend drove you, so you did have a DD.
Of all humans on this earth, she is the most experienced and knowledgeable of handling drunk me.
Yeah. Margaritaville.
I kept my clothes on.
You kept your clothes on. You attempted to get drunk because of the You Must Bowl, and you
failed miserably.
Failed. You came out the gate, got 2 margaritas. We warned the waiter what was up. We warned him like, hey, he is trying to become Margaritaville. By the end of this, he will be more margarita than man. And that was a promise that you did not live up to.
No, I did not at all. But hey, I still think I fully embodied the spirit of Margaritaville by trying and failing to relive my younger glory days.
That is, you know what? I'm going to give it to you. It counts.
Yeah.
Good job.
Thank you.
I hadn't looked at it through that lens, but yeah, that was what we saw. We just saw a restaurant trying to be like, this is kind of the last gasp of not boomer culture, but I mean, how do you describe it?
I don't know. Textbook peaked in high school.
Yeah. We've kind of already talked about our like first impressions of City Walk. You know, it's kind of this grand,
I guess, like entertainment shopping center attached to Universal Studios.
Gigantic neon signs of all these brands and stuff. You know the gig. I walked by the very same Cinnabon again.
There's a giant King Kong statue.
And then we get in front of the Margaritaville, and it looks, from the outside, kind of unassuming. There aren't any real big signs about it.
I think that's thematically appropriate because when are you going to some beachside bar and you're like, man, this is a to-do. This is the biggest, fanciest beachside bar I've ever been at.
But here's the thing. They're not imposing Margaritaville on those of us who are not interested in going to Margaritaville in the first place. But once you step through the doors, it is all Margaritaville.
Yes.
It is large margs and in charge.
There are surfboards everywhere. Not just surfboards with televisions in them.
Oh, yeah. Like they had tiki everything. They had a sky painted on the ceiling.
The floor was blue water.
And like a map compass, northeast, southwest on the top. It's 5 o'clock somewhere signs and like signs for breathe in, breathe out, move on. You had to be there. Chill. Rocking around the tropics, like just like these sorts of signs. We are the people our parents warned us about. Palm trees, just Jimmy Buffett song lyrics all over the place. There was a fire pit outside. There was a giant blender.
I didn't see the giant blender. Oh, wow.
I just showed him a
drinks
picture.
in that.
Booze in a blender. This thing is 8 feet tall. It almost, based on the way it looks like an interactable game. It looked like the Ticket Tornado
but you
from Chuck
die.
E. Cheese, but you die because it's a blender. And just Jimmy Buffett music non-stop, just filling the air. And this is all the first impression. I mean, it's kind of just a lot to take in, but you didn't have the time to take it in because we arrived 5 minutes to happy hour.
Yeah, we walk in.
The end of happy hour.
We walk in, the host is like, okay, so just to let you know, we've changed happy hour. Now it ends at 5. You've got 5 minutes to order your drinks.
Yeah. So you run to the table faster than I've ever seen you. And I am just walking around like a tourist, snapping pictures, getting the vibe, getting the ambiance. And I finally walk up to the table and it hits me that I'm wearing an old pair of flip-flops only to discover that they were really low on tread. And I was like slipping on everything. You saw me like ice skate on the hardwood floors.
You would think I would have been the one having the problems with balance here.
Every step I took felt like a liability.
You even promised the server you weren't going to sue the place.
And
most likely.
And then I walked it back. Yeah. And then we sit down, we're looking around, we're taking in the atmosphere, but it's a lot of Jimmy Buffett. And before we talk about the atmosphere proper, we should learn a little bit about the history of Jimmy Buffett, the restaurant, all that. So, Garrett, have you prepared some Resty facts for us?
I have prepared some Resty facts.
Well, let's get into this week's Resty Fact Roundup.
Okay, so we're not going to do whips.
That's right. My mom does not like the whip sound in Resty Fact Roundup. We got to replace it with something appropriate and on theme for the restaurant.
So, like, I don't know, what are there? There's parrots.
I could go for a parrot. Why don't we do, not us as a parrot, I can find a parrot sound.
The whole thing that started off all of this was the hit song Margaritaville.
Makes sense.
You'd think this was like a Florida Keys song, South Florida, the Caribbean, somewhere like that.
Is it not? It is the most Florida vibe of an idea I could think of.
Guess where this song was first conceived and the initial writing began?
The Bahamas.
Austin.
My hometown.
Yes.
I guess that makes sense. I feel like growing up in Tex-Mex culture, margaritas were a way of life. I saw margaritas at every place I went.
Yeah, that's literally what happened. Like, Jimmy Buffett was on tour in Texas, and one night he was dining at a local Mexican joint, Lung's Cocina del Sur.
Mm-hmm.
His margarita didn't have a salted rim, and then that inspired the Lost Shaker of Salt line from the song.
Ah.
He was staying at a friend's house. He went back there, wrote a little bit more, and then he went back to Key West.
And he was like, hey guys, I wrote something about you. It's like when you try to take credit for a secondhand, like he re-gifted Margaritaville to Florida.
Oh, yeah, that's about you guys. No. Where do you think the first Margaritaville was?
I want to say Florida.
You're partially right. The first successful Margaritaville location opened up in 1985 in Key West, Florida.
Okay.
But that was not the first one.
So it's the first successful one.
Yes.
What's the but?
Margaritaville has this dirty little secret. The first Margaritaville opened up as JB's Margaritaville in Gulf Shores, Alabama in 1984, and it actually remained in business until 1988. The name would have just been Margaritaville, but guess what? That name was already taken by many other restaurants.
Oh, by many other, like one-off mom and pop sort of things? So he had to attach the Jimmy Buffett's presentation to it?
And he actually chose the Alabama location because he spent most of his childhood in southern Alabama.
Okay, makes sense.
Eventually, he becomes Florida man, but he started off as Alabama
the man who will make you say true to any headline whatsoever.
Yes. There are currently 28 Margaritavilles still in operation.
How many in America?
I don't know exactly, but it's about 20 of them are in America.
Okay.
A lot of them are just like
he has
Bahamas
a couple
resorts,
in Mexico, right?
Yeah. And you'd think this type of business necessarily wouldn't have done well during the pandemic.
I would think that, but also Florida gonna Florida.
Yeah, and really, the pandemic didn't hurt them that much. Pre-pandemic, there were 31 restaurants. Post-pandemic, just 28.
Okay.
So only 3 closures. That's not bad.
They're holding on to their glory days.
Yes.
Much like you.
I let go of that. It came out of me.
You tried.
It exited my body.
Yeah.
All of this is part of a much larger boozy boomer empire that includes 7 airport Air Margaritaville locations, 17 Landshark Bar and Grills. And now this Landshark Bar and Grill was a partnership that he created with Anheuser-Busch in 2006.
Okay.
So he just makes his own beer.
Jimmy Buffett does?
Yes. Also, he makes his own line of tequila.
So this guy he loves boozing.
Yeah, he loves boozing and partnering with people.
Yeah.
So he partnered with Seagram's Gin to make this. And Seagram's actually owned his record label at that time, too. Or the parent company. So that's probably how that happened.
That's so weird.
He also had a partnership with Outback.
Wow, really going after what I love.
Yeah. He created the Cheeseburger in Paradise chain.
That was with Outback.
Yes.
Interesting.
Unfortunately, the last one closed in 2020.
Huh. That's weird to me. I mean, we'll get into our food later, but if we're comparing Margaritaville burgers with Outback burgers, there's miles apart.
Yeah. As you can see, it's not just the burgers that make him money, though. There's more. So he has 9 themed 5 o'clock somewhere hotel bars, 28 vacation/resort properties, an entire casino, 3 retirement communities.
That's funny.
Yes, that's perfect.
I mean, this felt like Retirement Community, the restaurant.
Yes. Also, like, you go along with the retirement community. What else do retirees love? Cruises.
Cruises, okay.
Yeah. He also has his own cruise line. He also has a full clothing line.
What a tycoon.
Yeah.
Just a margarita tycoon, a boozy tycoon.
You add all this together, as of just this year, according to Forbes, Jimmy Buffett has a net worth of over $1 billion.
Really? He's a billionaire from this.
Yeah. It's this giant empire. He joined a really fancy club. The Billionaires with the last name of Buffett Club.
Oh, yeah.
And Jimmy and Warren Buffett are actually friends, but they are not related at all. They actually took a DNA test. They were like, wait, are we related? They are not related.
Turns out making money isn't hereditary.
Just inheriting it.
Yeah.
Jimmy Buffett has also written 3 #1 best-selling novels, a Broadway musical, and he's still done 40-plus tours and sold over 20 million albums.
Stay in your lane. Novels? What are they about?
One of them's a memoir. I think another one's just about like business, and I don't know what the third one's about.
Oh, man.
But just like those.
And the third
things
one's
were
a spy thriller.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was like a steamy tropical romance novel.
That'd be so funny. And now for a reading from Serenading Seduction, a tropical melody of love. The salty air tickled my sunburned nose as I strummed my guitar, belting out tunes to a crowd of eager beachgoers. The stage was my escape, where I could let loose and ride the wave of laughter and music. Amongst the sea of sunbathers, my eyes locked onto hers. A vision in a vibrant bikini, she swayed her hips to the rhythm, her coconut-scented hair bouncing with each step. She had a smile that could rival the sunshine itself. With every strum, the temperature rose, and not just because of the blazing sun. There was a sizzle between us, an undeniable connection that made my fingers fumble on the strings. It was like my heart had met its margarita-loving match. As the last chords echoed through the beach, I hopped down from the stage, lured by her magnetic charm. We locked eyes, and the world melted away, leaving only us and the distant sound of seagulls arguing over a discarded hot dog. She sauntered toward me, her sun-kissed skin glistening with a sheen of SPF 50.
Hey there, Jimmy Buffett.
She purred, her voice smoother than a sip of aged rum.
Want to take me on a wild journey to your Margaritaville, where the cocktails flow freely and we dance until we forget how to cha-cha?
Well, how could I resist such an offer? With a mischievous grin, I took her hand, leading her to a hidden beach cove, where the sand was as soft as a fluffy parrot's feathers. The moon winked at us, as if it knew the mischief we were about to make. We settled into the sand, our toes wriggling together like a pair of synchronized swimmers. The ocean lapped at the shore, setting the mood with its rhythmic serenade. And there, under the starry canopy, we embarked on a passionate adventure that would make Hemingway blush. Laughter intertwined with kisses as we reveled in the silliness and sensuality of the moment. Sand found its way into places sand should never be, but we didn't care. We were too busy losing ourselves in the delicious madness of this impromptu escapade. In that moment, time slowed down, as if the universe itself was sipping pina coladas and enjoying the show. We were the stars of our own romantic comedy, complete with a love-struck ukulele player and a beach goddess with the deepest crow's feet you've ever seen. And as the dawn peeked over the horizon, throwing its rosy glow upon our tangled bodies, we knew that this hilarious and steamy adventure was just the beginning. With a renewed sense of joy, we embraced the new day, ready to conquer the world and maybe even write a hit song or two about our unforgettable beachside rendezvous. I had found my lost shaker of salt.
Let's go back in time a little bit, before Jimmy Buffett was an absolute billionaire. Buffett has a degree in journalism from the University of Southern Mississippi, and one of his early industry jobs was writing for Billboard. It was during this time that he fully realized how little musicians were paid and the necessity of income diversification. And he took this to heart.
Yeah.
In 1999, he started his own label, Mailboat Records. Since his own record
I
label...
have to ask, M-A-I-L or M-A-L-E? This is an important distinction.
M-A-I-L.
Oh, man. Okay.
Just thinking of like a mailboat. Just a bunch of
dudes.
Chippendales dancers on a boat. It's just like trolling through South Beach, just a bunch of guys.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Yeah. He did this because he realized how much his record label was making per album sale.
Yeah.
Which obviously the label makes the majority of the money.
Right.
He also started his own online radio station, Radio Margaritaville, and a streaming platform, Margaritaville.tv, that continuously plays his concert footage.
Oh, I bet that's for the restaurants. So that's what they put on the TVs in there?
I bet that's what's going on in
there.
there.
Okay.
I checked it out, too. You actually have to create a sign up and log in to use the service, which I didn't know, but...
Basically a Jimmy Buffett-specific Disney Plus.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
One last fun fact for you.
Yeah.
According to recent court documents, bankrupted crypto behemoth FTX owes the Margaritaville resort in the Bahamas almost $600,000.
Uh-huh.
According to the resort staff, FTX employees would return from the Bahamas office daily and throw wild parties and generally act as crypto bros would.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
And they just didn't pay their tab, basically?
Yeah, I think that's the true embodiment of wasting away in Margaritaville.
Yeah, I think so as well. And that'll do it for this week's Rusty Fact Roundup.
Atmosphere.
So there's obviously a lot that we saw on the way to the tables, in the entranceway, when you walk in. This is a kitschy paradise.
Oh, yeah. Oh, one thing we forgot about, there was a stage there.
Yeah, like a big performance stage where I almost wanted like Chuck E. Cheese-esque animatronics, like a Chuck E. Cheeseburger in paradise or something.
I like that.
Yeah.
And of course, Jimmy Buffett performed on that very stage during the opening of this restaurant.
Yeah. There's like a little pelican on the stage. You know, it's themed.
Yeah.
Properly. Got a nice blue light on it for mood and ambiance. There's a boat table.
I loved the boat table.
Right next to us. It's basically like the front of a motorboat kind of.
Yeah, it looked like one of those like old tugboats that you see in cartoons.
And it's got the front of the boat goes out towards a point, you know, boat shaped, right?
Wait,
and
is
then,
that the bow or the stern? The bow is the front?
I didn't brush up on my boating terminology ahead of this podcast. Anyways, the front of this boat goes out to a point, and then there's 8 chairs, 4 on each side. It's a cool little aesthetic for a table, I think.
And there were 5 too few of us to sit there.
And on the other side, where like the actual storage of the boat
that would be like
just rows of oxygen tanks. And I don't know if they're prop oxygen tanks or real ones. I imagine for safety reasons, they probably need to be fake. But in my mind, I'm like, man, if this place goes up in flames, we're done for.
Maybe it was supposed to be like a scuba dive boat or something, but I can't imagine.
Oh, that would make sense.
But I can't imagine they would have that many tanks displayed in that fashion.
There were a bunch of signs for like different sections. There was a tiki dining section. There was a Margaritaville store.
You saw that. Oh, you made some people feel uncomfortable, didn't you?
You know, there was a family dining on the other side of it. And I poked my head around just to see, like, is this an actual store? Is this a souvenir shop?
Because it says store.
Because it says that, and it's kind of at an angle to where we can't really see in there. I did see a table, but I didn't know if, I mean, what a weird place to put a table in the store.
Yeah, because they actually have Margaritaville stores, so it would only be logical for that to be a real store.
So I poke my head around, and this family just stares at me, and I just awkwardly shuffle away in my bad tread sandals. And I feel like they thought I was giving them a dirty look just for being there. This felt like the inside of an Islands, maybe more successfully executed. Like this was Islands meets Rainforest Cafe without animatronics.
But it's got this overall just shade of sadness over everything.
Just the big bar with a neon, it's 5 o'clock somewhere sign. Yeah, this is where dreams go to die.
Like, this was how I summed it up. The goal here was beach bum vibes, but the result felt more like too many chunky uncles in Speedos lounging on Myrtle Beach.
They even had a couple of signs like Myrtle Beach, that way, this many miles. New Orleans, that way. I'm like, okay.
And you all know that, like, really tan guy, his stomach is just, like, touching his knees, but he's got a Speedo on.
Yeah, and then, like, the top half of it has a sunburn and the bottom is pasty white.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It was...
That's the target demographic.
It is very clearly that. There were some really cool little swordfish wooden beams overhead that were kind of carved into the shape of swordfish. Time flies when you're having rum. That was a sign that I saw.
God.
But
it does.
Overall, I mean, like, it just had a lot to offer. It even had, like, those little pots that have fire coming out of them, like those iron pots, but they're party favors, so it's actually just a red light and paper flapping on like a little fan. You know what I'm talking about? Like the little torch sconces that you see in Halloween stores.
Oh, those are cool.
Yeah, I got a video.
Nice. Fire hazard.
They're paper. It's paper and light. There's no actual fire there.
That looks like fire.
I know. It
looks really cool.
It caught my eye when I went by it, and it was kind of a neat little addition, you know, clearly from like Halloween Town or Spirit Halloween or something like that, but it added something.
Yeah, you noticed this. I was too busy feeling like crap.
You were too busy trying to figure out your happy hour order.
Yeah.
Which is kind of the other part of atmosphere we need to talk about. We have talked about it a little bit, but I want to get into it now. It is part of my atmosphere.
Yeah, no, we can talk about it. I'll rate the stuff later, actually. So
yeah, you'll rate the drinks later, but you just powering down the first two margaritas, I was like, okay, it's on.
Yeah, I thought it was on too. They tasted okay, and
then you ordered the super fruity ones.
Yeah, and that was where it started going downhill.
You ordered two more different margaritas, and you only drank half of one of them and like a sip of the other. And the goal was for you to waste away, and apparently this was enough.
Yeah, that was enough to make my body reject everything.
Because, you know, we usually go into the bathroom and check it out and rate it.
It was a pretty clean bathroom.
It was a pretty clean bathroom. You excused yourself to go
evacuate the premises.
What you had drank so far. And I was like, north or south? And you went north. You didn't know, but I followed you to the bathroom once you got in there. And I mean, this is art, folks. This is a piece of art. I got a video of just a sign on the wall that says, Margaritaville, changes in latitude, changes in attitude. And the background music of this is just Jimmy Buffett music. Go figure. And then I do that slow pan over, and you see the first stall, and you see some feet underneath it, and you just hear retching. And not a moment later, just out of the bottom of the stall, a little piece of toilet paper that Garrett breaks off for himself as I then pan back to the sign. It could not have been more beautifully constructed if I tried. And you didn't even know this video existed until you got back to the seat. And I was like, so I followed you into there and I filmed it.
Well, when you think about it, I was the one that had the no touching rule, but you're the one that follows another man into the bathroom.
You know what? Checkmate, Garrett. So, yeah, you got pretty sick.
Okay, I don't know.
How have the past few days been?
I still feel mildly crappy. I don't know what was wrong with this. Like, I didn't get buzzed.
But your hands
I just
tingled.
went right to sick. My hands were starting tingling. I was in a full sweat, and I just felt like I needed to throw up.
You were glistening.
I was. I did not feel comfortable. Like,
yeah.
I don't know if it was the sugar. Maybe I just can't drink alcohol anymore. Maybe I'm allergic to that.
Yeah.
Maybe it's tequila. I don't know. It just didn't react well with my body.
No, it did not. And thanks for coming out to record today.
You're welcome.
I know you said you've been spending the past couple days in darkness.
Yes, I've literally been. The only light is either a computer screen or a TV.
Which, as they say, is healthy. Now, when we got back to the table, I got scared because I sat down and then I moved my napkin, and right underneath it is just Jimmy Buffett hanging out on a surfboard, like staring at the camera of the perspective of whoever's looking at it. And I'm just like, ah! Like, it took me off guard. I was just like,
it was literally covered the entire time.
Yeah.
And he was staring at you. It was just like a mischievous look on his face, too. He's like, oh, surprise, here's Jimmy.
And then at the end of the table, there has what looks like a postcard-shaped picture of Jimmy Buffett. And then on the walls, there's pictures of Jimmy Buffett.
But those ones are weird. It looks like a candid moment of him wakeboarding.
It looked so forced. Like, it looked like there's no way someone naturally took that photo of him. And it makes you question, Garrett, what's going on over there?
What's going on over there? What's going on over there? Should I worry? Should I care? What is going on over there?
Something looked off about it. What is going on over there, Garrett?
I wonder if he called the paparazzi on himself.
Yeah.
Because
it did kind of have that film grain to it, to where it looked, paparazzi-esque, like, oh gosh, we don't want him to notice we're here, like noticing him paddleboarding.
Paddleboarding, yeah.
But clearly it was staged.
Yeah.
He had his nice watch on, and
I think he had to, because
you think he called his own paparazzi.
He needed
that is
for
sad.
his own career, because fun fact, Jimmy Buffett did not win any official music industry awards until the mid-2000s.
And I mean, he had to make his own record label. This might be like he had to make his own paparazzi. He had to make up his own awards to give himself. Jimmy Buffett is a success story made by himself, but not in the sense that he's self-made, but in the sense that he's like self-recognized. Yes, self-made up. Oh gosh. Can you imagine, Garrett, if we're like, hey, we're leaving the house. Meet us in 20 minutes outside. We're wearing sweatpants. You can write a tabloid headline about how trash we look.
People actually do that, though.
Do they really?
Yes.
That's so sad.
So there have been reality stars that literally
drum up their own attention.
Yeah. Which, if you're not even D-list, what are you going to do? I don't fault him for it. I would do the same thing if I had the opportunity.
Gosh, when this podcast catches on like wildfire, you're going to just do the dumbest publicity stunts for us.
100%.
Yeah.
Shamelessly.
Oh, God. As sad as it is, I think we've figured out what's going on over there.
What is going on over there?
Now, I also want to talk about the music a little bit. It was all Jimmy Buffett, except it wasn't. Like, they gave you palate cleansers like every 30 minutes. You'd get like, there was a song by No Doubt, there was a Shania Twain song. It just felt like, why? I mean, I didn't mind it, but it was just a weirdly like off theme thing. I wonder if there was like an employee in back who was like trying to get one over on management.
Because it is literal torture having to listen to the same music again and again on repeat.
Well, what's crazy is even when there were down moments, because there were occasionally like a couple minutes without music, I could still hear steel drums in my mind. Like, it definitely permeates your brain, the vibe of a Margaritaville. So at the very least, whether it's good, whether it's bad, it's effective.
Yeah. It's like a tumor on the brain.
Margaritaville, the atmosphere of a tumor. Yeah.
A tropical tumor. Speaking of cancer, the table next to us, there was this man. He wouldn't shut up about the Mario movie.
Yeah. He just kept going. And it was one of those things where it's like holier than thou opinions and stuff like that. Just wouldn't stop. And like passionately, loudly kind of talking spoilers.
He was exactly the type of guy that'll give 0% on Rotten Tomatoes to any movie that has a female lead.
Oh, woof. Yeah, I was definitely getting that vibe.
Yeah.
And you could tell that like the other people at his table were kind of just tolerating him. Like, the faster we just say yeah, the faster this meal ends. Although that didn't seem to be the case.
No, he just kept going.
It would be a thing where like we would have, I don't know, 10 minutes between us, and then I would hear something from the table. I'd be like, oh, he's still just ranting about Mario. Yeah. I wish there was something we could do.
There should be some
people who are doing like spoilers in public.
Yeah, it's like, is there someone out there that'll help us out with this?
And now, a word from our totally not made up sponsor.
Oh, hi there. It's your favorite sponsor, Job. I'm back. You know the deal. Something relevant came up in the episode that pertains to the new business I'm doing. What a happy accident. Spoiler alert, it's planned that way. And speaking of spoilers, that's my side hustle. I'm gonna make sure that no one around you spoils anything. But Job, in America, people have freedom of speech and they can talk about what they want. Not if you're dining at chain restaurants and you're talking too loudly about the plot points of recent movies. Hell, even past movies. Let people move at their own pace. Hell, I'm still in 1998 on my journey to watch every movie ever. I'm going alphabetically, but by year. So next up is You've Got Mail, and what an antiquated concept. But people have had the courtesy not to spoil that for me, and I'm gonna make sure no one spoils anything for you. I bought some duct tape and a staple gun, and I'll keep anyone quiet with just those two things. So if you want my services, call me. Not on a phone. Just embed your request for my services into the subtitles of the DVDs that I'm watching, and I'll find you. Anyways, I gotta go. Tom Hanks is calling my name. We're best friends, and he's gonna watch it with me. Okay, bye. We need to rate the atmosphere, but I have to give out not one, but 2 awards.
Okay.
Your drink count was way too little.
This is way too little.
Garrett,
Yeah.
you wrote checks that your body could not cash. It was
sad.
You built yourself up as the stuff of legends. You were like, man, to get me even buzzed, it's going to take like 8 margs and like some shots.
To be fair, it
Probably would
may
have.
have.
You puked after only 2.5.
Yeah.
Your drink count, Garrett, was way too little. And in that same vein, my expectations of you were way too much.
This is
You were supposed to be making my life miserable. That was your intent.
And I just made my own life miserable.
Which I'm, in a schadenfreude kind of way, a little bit glad for that.
Yeah.
You did this to mess with me and it only hurt you in the process. But my view of you going in, my expectations of you, the fact that I didn't experience nudity nor touching, you know, you just built it up and it was in fact way too much.
So you're saying you would prefer touching and nudity?
Nope, I would not. Oh, and the last thing about this drunk Garrett event, not even drunk, but you just in pain. You just started doing the John Cena "you can't see me" for, I don't know why, but you just responded to everything I said with just that hand motion for a solid couple of minutes. And I don't know where it came from, but it was spicy.
What that really meant was, stop talking. No.
That
Just
was
stop.
like
Just stop. No, I'm not here.
Imagine I'm invisible.
Really, you can't see me.
Yeah. Overall, I thought this place was just a little bit sad, but a very well-executed sadness. It was a well-executed sadness. I'm still going 1 thumb up on the atmosphere. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's 1 thumb down. It's certainly not neutral. Yeah, I will say a simultaneous 1 thumb up and 1 thumb down on the atmosphere at Margaritaville, depending on your demeanor. Can I do that?
That sounds like 0 thumbs.
You know what? I'm going to go 1 thumb down. The sadness outweighs the cohesion. Screw the cohesion. 1 thumb down.
Now, I initially would go 1 thumb up on this because, as you said, everything's cohesive. They tried. They did a pretty good job.
The effects are pretty good. Like
Yeah.
the lighting in there, the prop work, it's good.
But I just felt depressed.
Yeah.
I'm not achieving my goals. I'm never going to be able to relive things I used to enjoy.
Yeah.
I'll never be a full man again. Like, I preferred Margaritaville when it was just this amorphous ball of sadness I remember drunken family members going to and bringing home shot glasses from.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, oh, you guys had a good time. You got drunk. That's fun.
But going there and doing it yourself
is a completely different experience.
Yeah.
I embraced the sadness. I embraced my inner boomer.
You successfully became Margaritaville.
I did. But I think the good and the bad really cancel themselves out on this. 0 thumbs.
All right. That makes sense.
Service.
Hey, our server was willing to go along with the You Must Bowl this week.
Well, I mean, we kind of warned him like, hey, man, this is happening. So
No, he had a
he's
really
gonna
good
be drinking a
attitude
lot.
about
He
it.
He did. I liked him interpersonally. I don't think he was the best waiter.
No, but he was fun. I remember like after he brought the first 2, he patted me on the back and he's like, good luck.
Did he really?
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, I felt like it was great that he kind of did that willing rush to get all our happy order.
Like I feel like he was very present in
stuff
the beginning.
because that included some of the
Appetizers too, half off.
which weren't on the normal menu.
No.
So we actually got some exclusive items, I guess,
Yeah.
that they don't have on the normal menu. And you got your drinks. But yeah, I don't know. He was very slow to check in or kind of do anything, really. Other people were the ones that brought out our food. So I just felt like he wasn't as present as I wanted him to be. But nice enough guy. Asked about the podcast afterwards because we did kind of lead with, hey, he's doing this. Here's why he's doing this. You know, it's kind of like a lost bet sort of situation. And I didn't want him to be just blindsided. Now, again, my expectations were way too much. It ended up, he didn't need the disclaimer.
No, but it's safe to
It's
give
polite to do. I'm just going to go a flat 0 thumbs. I don't have a lot to say. This is a very unmemorable situation in terms of service. I mean, which is what we want. If I'm actually drafting waiters for the most mediocre restaurant, this guy's up there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And all of our needs were met. Nothing bad happened.
And nothing great happened.
Yeah, it was a really perfect neutral experience.
Yeah, so 0 thumbs
0
for me.
thumbs for me too.
Munchkin Menu Musings.
My name is Mason at 6 years old. I'm gonna review my kids' menu from Jimmy Buffett's Margaritaville. They didn't have a kids' menu, but they gave me a color page from Kung Fu Panda. It had nothing to do with Margaritaville. I colored the panda. I made him green, red, and orange. I colored the snake and the tiger orange. I colored the monkey orange. I didn't really like it. It was boring. After a while, I just kind of stopped. After all, I scored this menu 1 out of 10. It was bad. This has been Mason from Munchkin Menu Music. Thank you.
Food. Yum!
Okay, and so on to food, and a rarely talked about thing for us is drinks.
Yeah.
Why don't we start with drinks? Because again, you got 3 different margaritas,
Yep, 3
right?
different ones.
And you got 4 margaritas, but
Mhm.
one was a duplicate.
At first, I had 2 of the perfect margarita. And this...
That's not your opinion of it. That's
No,
their
that was
name
the
of
name.
it. Okay.
And the sour mix journey begins here.
Mm-hmm.
It was half sour mix. It was just tart and sugar.
Yeah.
So I'll just give this a 5 out of 10. It tasted like a margarita, I guess. There was nothing spectacular other than just the mediocrity flavor of a happy hour margarita.
And this one was clear in color, right?
Yes, this one was clear.
Your next 2 were very colorful.
Yes. So the next one was the Last Tango in Paris. It was a very opaque orange.
Was it like strawberry-ish?
Orange strawberry color.
Yeah, to me it
Something
looked
like
like a
that.
pinkish, reddish, orange,
Mhm.
somewhere in there.
And again, overpowering sour mix. The flavor was okay. I could taste the mango.
Yeah.
But speaking of the mango, the biggest thing that bugged me about this, the mango chunks got stuck in the straw.
Oh, that's right. I remember looking into it and I was like, is that corn? I thought there were corn chunks in your drink. It was mango. But they look
Ooh.
like little corn
They
kernels. Yeah.
If you're actually drunk, how are you going to consume this drink?
Yeah.
This is a 6 out of 10 for me. Now, the last one, coolest name, fins to the left. And this was a nice blue color.
It was a very pretty drink.
Yeah.
And your face after your first sip was just a wince.
Yeah, this was a literal glass full of sour mix and simple syrup. That's what I thought it was.
Yeah. You barely touched
I barely
this one.
did it. Like, I had Aubrey take a sip of this, and like, this is normally her drink of choice. She goes for like margaritas and that sweet stuff.
And even she thought it was
her
too
reaction
sour.
was exactly the same as mine. So when someone who chooses this drink willingly won't drink it,
Right.
it's not a good drink. So this one is a 2 out of 10.
I don't drink alcohol, but for the first time in my life, I got a virgin version of an alcoholic drink. I got a virgin Bahama Mama, which you made the joke. Can it even be a mama if it's a virgin? Solid.
Yep.
Solid point. I guess it could just be a Bahama virgin. I don't. Nope. I don't like the way that sounds.
Let's not.
It was delicious. It was like grenadine, pineapple juice. It had some lime juice in it. I want to say it had a little strawberry. I don't remember exactly what all
so
of them
there's
were.
probably some triple sec in there too, maybe.
In the alcoholic version.
Yeah. Oh wait, yeah, you don't. That's not alcohol.
Right.
I'm thinking of like, okay, what's in this drink?
But this was a tasty beverage, and it was basically just a juice drink for me. I'm going 8.5 out of 10 on the Virgin Bahama Mama.
Wow.
I'm a Bahama daddy.
You are a Bahama father. You have a pineapple son. I think that's fitting.
Hey, that is true. You're right. How could I literally forget about my son?
Yeah, how could you forget about your son? Were you just drinking your son?
He tasted Anyways, so the appetizers we got from the happy hour menu that were exclusive to the happy hour menu, we got fried pickles, which Hooters was the first time in my life I willingly ate pickles.
Because you're not a pickle boy.
Not a pickle boy. But I enjoyed the fried pickles at Hooters. These were the best fried pickles I've ever had. Now, to be fair, out of 2, but these were great. I'm going to go 8.5 out of 10 as well on these fried pickles.
Wow.
They came in like that little metal-shaped fry basket thing that they had at Planet Hollywood. And then it had an avocado ranch that I ate that I also enjoyed. I thought it was solid with it, but these were an addictive little snack.
Yeah, these were salty, structurally sound, and the batter stayed attached. And they were more in the vein of like chips/crisps.
Yeah.
And yeah, 8.5 out of 10. These are just some of the best fried pickles I have ever had. I loved how they were just light and
so
tangy.
they were among the best for
They
you
were,
as well,
yeah.
and you've had a decent amount, I imagine.
Yeah, there was no real grease to this. It was just
They were very light.
It's like they were air fried almost, but
Yeah.
I'm sure they were deep fried.
They were good.
Excellent.
And then we got maybe the laziest excuse for a slider we've ever had, which doesn't mean it wasn't good.
No,
but it wasn't a slider.
Yeah, we got the mini Cuban sliders, and it arrived as an entire sandwich cut in half.
Yeah, where it's just like, that's just a sandwich, dude. That's not a slider.
Yeah, which is a full menu item actually as a sandwich.
Yeah, it's like, hey, do you want this thing or do you want this thing cut in half? Because they're two separate menu items.
Yeah, one of them's double the price of the other, but
Yeah.
you get the same thing.
It was pretty solid. I liked it. It didn't steal the show, but 7.5 out of 10 for me. Solidly good. It was meaty. It was like Black Forest ham. It had a mustard on it. The bread was all right.
Yeah. The bread, it was soft and moist on the inside, but I liked that the exterior was still hard and crisp so it could stand up to the press.
Yeah.
So Cuban sandwiches are always put in a press down once they're made, so it has that crispy top and bottom, and it's a little thinner than a normal sandwich.
Like the little panini effect.
Yeah. And this was really good smoky ham. I could taste the mojo marinade in the pork, and it had the same tangy pickles from the fried pickles, but they were fresh.
Yeah.
I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10, but I would give this an 8 out of 10 if it was accurately described on the menu. If we would have actually been given sliders, 8 out of 10, but nah, name it right. 7 out of 10.
This is the thing where I think you dock points for weird reasons.
I do, but
like
I don't
it's the same item of food.
It is, but if I'm ordering
the same item of fooding, but you know what?
Yeah.
I'm accusing you of something right now of just being weird. But when we get to the dessert, I'm also gonna have that issue. So I'm gonna let it slider here.
I see what you did there.
Boo me out of the building.
There's something really cute about bite-sized sliders. They just make me feel good.
And we didn't get them.
I know.
Like, we just got a sandwich cut in half. I would have liked to see.
Yeah, see? That's that's an enjoyment point.
Okay, you know what? Point acknowledged and yielded.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to get into our entrees. Let's talk about the things that came with it real quick. You know, the fries and the onion rings. These fries sucked. I thought these were bland. They were 4 out of 10 fries for me.
Yeah, they were bland. There was no taste, really. But they were solidly crisp on the outside and soft and airy on the inside still. So I feel like these were nothing but a vehicle for something else. They would have been great as like a base for a lomo saltado. Or another fun thing I just found out on the internet. It's called a Dublin spice bag.
Why does this sound like a sex position?
No. Well, it's just like a takeout bag of food. It's got fries inside of it, like sliced up, or like little deep fried chicken balls, Asian spices, fried peppers and onions.
Where do you get that?
Chinese restaurants in Ireland.
Okay.
I haven't found one in LA yet. And I've been looking around for this thing.
Let me know if you find one.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah. All right, so what are you giving it?
Oh, yeah, so 5.5 out of 10. Wow. I got distracted by the spice.
Over average. Okay.
Yeah, just because I think structurally they were great.
Yeah, they didn't bring enough flavor to anything. They needed the salt and pepper, which I like a fry that doesn't need it. I will always add it, but I like a fry that doesn't need it. And I'll always try it before seasoning it myself.
I agree. Like, I would prefer to rate the food as it comes out to the table.
Onion rings.
Ugh.
All right, I guess we disagree here. I thought the batter on them was great. It just needed more onion. But the breading taste, I really enjoyed. These are not like top tier onion rings by any means, but I gave it a 7.5 out of 10. They're solidly good.
You're right about like it's structurally strong and it's a firmly battered exterior.
And a tastily battered exterior, I would say.
It was okay. The tiny little wimpy onion didn't pull out when you bite. That's a positive. It was just way too greasy. It wasn't even juicy greasy. It just tasted like old fryer grease, and I can't get over that. It tasted like cheddars. So 4 out of 10.
Look at us just going all over the place on these sides. But now the burgers. We both got burgers here because when you've got a place that has a song called Cheeseburger in Paradise, you're assuming they're putting some stock in the burgers.
Yeah, that should be what they're known for.
Do you want to go first or do you want me to go first?
I'll just go first on this. I got the cheddar barbecue burger.
Yeah.
Without cheddar cheese because we're not
don't
cheese
like
boys.
Cheese. Yeah.
The bacon was extremely crunchy and overdone. It was hard.
Yeah.
And the patty was also overcooked. It was a full out well done.
Just dry.
Yeah. And to be fair, I never specified another cooking temperature, but I was never asked.
That's fair. Yeah. They probably just have one way they do it.
Yeah. And they had a barbecue mayo mix, which you initially thought was cheese.
I did. Yeah. It came and it was drenched in yellow. So I didn't realize it was a barbecue mayo mix. I thought it was just barbecue. I was like, oh, your thing has got melted cheese on it.
And I didn't like this. Just give me barbecue sauce.
Yeah.
Or just give me mayo.
It's what's in the name, too.
Yeah.
It's a barbecue burger.
Why are you giving me this extra flavor? Just give me the barbecue sauce. So overall, this was a crunchy burger, which is a very weird way to describe a burger.
Yeah.
So 5 out of 10 for the crunchy cheddar barbecue burger.
Yeah. On my end, they did not crush it on the burger either. So I got the volcano burger.
That sounded fun.
What do you expect when you hear volcano, Garrett?
I don't know, some spice.
Yeah, you do. There were 2 miniature slices of jalapeno. Like afterthoughts. Like you had to find them. And one of them was like the tip, like the end piece where it was just so little like actual content. It was not spicy at all. 2 small slices of jalapeno. The way that I think it justified being a volcano burger was that everything erupted out of the burger as I ate it because it had guacamole and chili. Now they do have a volcano chili, like that's one of their soups. So they put some of the volcano chili in it. So it had like beans and like the chili mix just falling out of it. Like this thing had no structural integrity whatsoever. And the quality of the patty was like middle school cafeteria to me. It's like they cooked a burger an hour ago and it's been sitting in like, like the water, like the silver water bin.
I know. I remember working
in a cafeteria.
I remember working at McDonald's and the bins they stored the meat in.
Yeah.
It's little pull out plastic trays with some soggy meat juice in the bottom.
That's what it reminded me of.
Ugh.
Yeah, the phrase cheeseburger in paradise makes a promise of you'll be in a nice environment, but that song title makes no promise about the quality of the burger itself. It does not imply that Jimmy Buffett is having a good cheeseburger in paradise, just that he is having a cheeseburger in paradise. 3.5 out of 10.
Wow.
This is the worst burger I've had on this show.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's embarrassing.
I didn't like get sick from it. It wasn't something where I couldn't finish it. To me, that's like 2 and under. But this was like bad enough for me to be like, this is bad. I will call it bad. I won't call it terrible. I won't call it a nightmare, but it's not good. And then dessert, Garrett.
Oh, dessert. Dessert was weird.
Dessert was so weird. They had 3 desserts on the menu. They had a brownie sundae that they were out of. And that was like the number one thing Aubrey and I wanted. You were already in like, I'm sick, go on without me mode. You were like a war movie guy on his, like he had just been shot.
Like I was Lieutenant Dan lying on the ground.
No, leave me here, damn it. Damn it, Gump. Yeah. So Aubrey was like, okay, I'll get the key lime pie. And I was like, great. I will get the strawberry shortcake. I love strawberry shortcake, Garrett. Going back to Portillo's, I think their strawberry shortcake is one of the best things I've eaten on this podcast. I gave it a 10 out of 10. I haven't given a lot of things 10 out of 10. But Portillo's I did. Portillo's, one of our Patreon episodes. So if you want to check that out, go check that out. Blah, 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 blah. This was neither strawberry nor shortcake.
Yes, both of those elements were 100% missing, oddly.
This was a lie of a dessert. So what we got was strawberry syrup on the bottom of a bowl plate
with
biscuits, breakfast biscuits, and dry ones at that.
Yeah, these weren't your light, fluffy ones you get in the South.
These were like overcooked biscuits.
Rock biscuits.
With a scoop of strawberry flavored ice cream in the middle.
Overly sweetened strawberry ice cream, so artificial.
And then another biscuit on top, and then whipped cream, which I enjoy whipped cream.
Yeah.
Eating this thing was difficult because I literally had to jam a fork in underneath the biscuit and then spoon down to create any separation, unless I just wanted to eat ice creamy biscuits with my hand, which this isn't a hand dessert. So it's not like a sandwich or anything like that. It's too far apart to be that. You've got a whole scoop of ice cream in there and it's a generous helping, but no strawberry, no shortcake, overcooked, like brown, not even like the light gold, like a brown biscuit.
They looked exactly like the Cheddar Bay biscuits, but dark.
Yeah. From Red Lobster. 4 out of 10 on this dessert for me. Part of that is just because of the lie, but the texture was so bad on the biscuits, and it just, like, the flavor was the only thing tolerable, but the textures of the entire presentation were not good.
I didn't even like the flavor on it.
I thought it was, I mean, I like sweet things, you know.
I don't.
I don't think I've had an ice cream that I hated. And like a biscuit is okay, and I do love whipped cream. So, you know, it had some elements that I'm like, okay, I enjoy elements of this.
You know, if you have Haagen-Dazs strawberry ice cream, that tastes creamy and soft and not like artificial sugar like this one did.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, this was not a strong performer in any aspect. 4 out of 10. Don't get it. Don't bother.
Yeah, I'm going to go 3 out of 10. It was dry and hard. Dry and hard are 2 things that should never be associated with strawberry shortcake.
Or just most food.
Yeah.
Unless it's like a jawbreaker.
Or like biscotti.
Okay. Yeah. Like a nice crispy thing. All right, I'll give you that.
This might have done better with biscotti than biscuits.
Yeah, but just calling it a strawberry shortcake is a bald-faced lie.
Yeah, it's hard, it's dry, and it's full of lies. The key lime pie. It was a more authentic tartness than I can pretty much ever get in Los Angeles, so it was closer to what you would actually get in South Florida.
Yeah.
That being said, if I got this exact pie in South Florida or the Caribbean, I'd be disappointed.
Okay.
But I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10.
All right.
Simply because an LA 7 out of 10 is a South Florida 4 out of 10.
When it comes to key lime pie.
Yes.
All right. overall on the food here, I thought that the fried pickles are carrying a lot of the weight. I did enjoy the onion rings. The desserts and the entree, I just could not get into. And the little quote-unquote slider, tasty, not enough to save this. I'm just going to go 0 thumbs. It is close to 1 thumb down. Okay. I will say it is closer on that spectrum of being negative than positive, but not strongly enough to give it a full thumb down.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's where I stand. But rename that dessert.
Yeah. Hard biscuits and ice cream?
Yeah, exactly. You get it.
Yeah. Ooh, I will never
No one would order that. Do you want hard biscuits?
Overall, I think I had maybe a slightly better experience with the food than you. Probably because I was concentrating on my physical pain.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to give this a neutral 0 thumbs experience and call it a day. I made it out alive. I escaped the drinks. Okay.
All right. Well, we got to take all of these points and put them together into a rating. While we do that, why don't we see what other people have rated Margaritaville in this week's Yelp from Strangers?
We need a little Yelp, a little Yelp from strangers. A 1-star, 2-star, 3-star, 4 or 5. So get a little Yelp, a little Yelp from strangers. A little Yelp. Give us those complaints while you literally whine and die. Yelp!
All right, it's time for this week's Yelp from Strangers, where we go to Yelp and pick out our favorite 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5-star Yelp reviews, seeing what people had to say about the very location of Margaritaville that we went to.
5-star review.
Garrett, I'm going to start it off with a 5-star review that is just full of opinions. From Javier A. 2 months ago. Margaritaville is a restaurant and bar chain inspired by the music and lifestyle of Jimmy Buffett. The concept of the chain is centered around a tropical, laid-back atmosphere with a menu featuring a variety of tropical-themed cocktails and cuisine, including margaritas, seafood, and grilled items. Margaritaville also offers live music and entertainment, making it a popular destination for fans of Jimmy Buffett's music and those looking for a fun, relaxed atmosphere. The chain has multiple locations throughout the United States and internationally. Overall, Margaritaville is known for its lively and festive atmosphere, good food and drinks, and lively entertainment options. There were 0 opinions in that.
Okay, now is that it's either a wiki cop and paste?
No, I think someone went on to ChatGPT and was like, what is Margaritaville? And then they copy-pasted the results into their Yelp review to take credit, I guess, for just letting people know what the place is.
I wonder if that was just someone's assistant leaving a Yelp review for them. So someone asked their assistant to leave a 5-star Yelp review.
And they like sarcastically complied.
1-star review.
Let's go to the other end of the spectrum. 1 star.
All right.
Stanley P. He's an elite Yelper. 10 months ago, 1 star. Jimmy, nice try, but this place just wasn't it. Let me first start off by saying, how can you call yourself a Margaritaville when the margaritas aren't good? At all. This place is mediocre.
Well, yeah, I mean, not to be a stickler, but if he's going 1 star and calling it mediocre, that defies our entire system.
Yeah, I think he's wrong already.
Yeah.
I had the salmon, definitely frozen, and that was flavorless. Where was the salt on this fish? LOL. Seems like the margarita had all the salt because the thing was salty. Usually a good, decent spot will give me a small little buzz. This margarita was salt water.
Oh, gross.
Oh.
I mean, it did have an ocean theme, so you would think that they're telling you the truth. Hey, you're gonna get some salt in your mouth.
Kids menu chicken was hard as a rock. Like the biscuits.
Like the biscuits.
More like a choking hazard for your kids. Don't do that to your kids. This place is getting a 1 star for being the #1 place to stay away from when you come to City Walk. Don't recommend.
Amazing. 1 star. Thanks, Stanley P, for letting us know.
Yeah, avoid this place and their saltwater margaritas.
And their rock hard kids menu. If you'd like to hear the rest of our Yelp from Strangers segment, go on over to our Patreon, and we'll be posting all 5 of our favorite reviews there. You can find the link for that in the description of this episode, or just go to patreon.com/finediningpodcast.
Final rating.
Garrett, Margaritaville deserves to go one place, on the tchotchke of mediocrity. But something else needs to go up on the tchotchke. We have our first Patreon patron to subscribe at the $150 Enshrined in Mediocrity tier, Garrett.
I just want to say, hey man, nice face.
Yes, because our word is our bond. His face does get forever added to the tchotchke of mediocrity. Any of you can do this as well. You pledge $150. You even do it once, your face is there forever. So it's a fun deal.
Hey, it's like pregnancy.
Garrett, do the honors.
Hey, Sean, I'm going to take your face, put it right up here in the tchotchke. Now everyone can see your beaming, glowing eyes.
And I feel like he's just watching us now. It's kind of disconcerting. And because I was bored and felt like it, here's a thank you rap about Sean Spademan, our $150 patron, forever enshrined in mediocrity. Philanthropy alert, now I gotta shout your name, fam. Show appreciation for Sean Spademan. Patreon donation, making sure we're paid, man. Give 150 printing pictures of your face, man. Thanks, man. Put your visage up on the tchotchke. Watch me rhyme about your generosity. Pens out of ink, now that won't stop me from rapping gratitude about my man Sean Z. Empty out your pockets, gonna make us break through. You're a gift, you're a treasure if we had to rank you. Number 1 in our hearts, without further ado. These fussy little boys wanna say thank you. Okay, now that that's over, we still gotta add Margaritaville to the tchotchke. We gotta know, how does it stack up against all the other spots?
I have a sneaking suspicion that this place is going to be pretty mediocre.
You think so?
Yeah.
How mediocre?
Okay, I'll start you off with some true mediocrity.
Yeah, hit me.
Jimmy Buffett's Margaritaville is basically just a tropical Applebee's for boomers on vacation. The overall vibe says, we know you lost a hefty chunk of your retirement savings on poor-performing oil and gas stocks, but hey, you can get wasted and forget you have to be the guy that checks receipts at Costco to make ends meet.
Woof.
Still, I'd rather down Dollaritas at Club Applebee's than dine again at this paragon of American chain restaurant Mexceptionalism. 5.
Oh.
Point.
Yeah.
0.
Okay, we're getting close. Ooh, hold on. And it's worse than Applebee's, which you gave a 5.04 to.
Again,
what's that last digit?
5. Point. 0.
Yes.
1.
Wow. So not perfectly mediocre
Not
for
perfectly
you.
mediocre.
It could be. There could be a place a skosh more mediocre.
I gave Denny's a 5.02, and I'd ever so slightly rather have that Denny's experience
Than this one?
over this.
Wow. Well, Garrett, I did not feel as positive about this place as you did. So I am under a 5.01, but I'm not that close. Sorry to kill the suspense, but my rating, you know, I went an ethereal 1 thumb up and down simultaneously on atmosphere, but down.
Schrodinger's thumb. You gave a Schrodinger's
I gave
thumb.
Schrodinger's thumbs up to atmosphere. I gave no thumbs on service, and I gave an angry no thumbs on food, skewing towards 1 thumb down. Okay. The one thing I have to say is when we walk into a restaurant, you kind of get a score in mind. I mean, you don't know everything that's coming, right? You don't know what the service is going to be. You haven't tasted the food yet, but you walk in and it sets an expectation. I walked into here and I felt Rainforest Cafe-esque. It was cohesion,
they had
theming.
They put a really strong foot forward right away. They're like, okay, you're going to have a good time here.
Yeah. And then as the sun started to set and the lighting got dimmer and you started
retching,
throwing up, and I was like, you know what? That feels right. This is the most I've ever had a restaurant fall from my expectation walking in to what I walked away with. Because I was thinking this place could be over 8, and this place wasn't even over 5. I'm giving Jimmy Buffett's Margaritaville a 4.53.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know. Just, it wasn't great.
No, it wasn't.
It was not. And that means it goes up on the tchotchke at a 4.77.
Wow.
Which is safely mediocre.
Yeah, it's okay.
But also, by our definition, with that litmus test as of now being Applebee's, it doesn't pass the Applebee's test. It's a bad restaurant.
Yes.
Which means we got to keep looking, because the Applebee's test, it's a solid test, but it's not perfect.
No, it isn't.
It's not finely tuned to be a 5.00.
Yeah.
It was for me.
No, it is not a scientific measurement at all.
No, we need something else to be that perfect calibration. We need something else to be a 5.00. This wasn't it. So we got to play a game to figure out where are we going to go next. What big chain restaurant are we going to experience next time? And we got to play the game, Garrett. We got to play
the headline game.
The rules of the headline game are as follows. Garrett will present 3 headlines to Michael that include this week's restaurant. They can be made up, or they can be actual headlines. If Michael can correctly guess if at least 2 out of 3 are real or fake, he will get to select next week's restaurant. However, if Garrett stumps him, he'll select again. Are you ready to play, fellas?
I'm ready. Garrett, are you ready?
Oh, I'm ready. You're going to love these ones.
How many of these have the word infestation in them? Because I've noticed a trend about you.
One of them has the word infestation involved.
Oh, God. All right.
Okay, first headline. Neighbors blame Margaritaville resort construction for rat infestation.
I mean, that's just such a leap to blame construction somewhere else for your rat infestation. So I just don't buy it logically. So I'm going to say it's false.
Okay. Next one. Before I read the headline, the term parrot head is a fan of Jimmy Buffett.
Parrot head, okay.
Yes. When parrot heads attack, exile in Margaritaville.
I'll say true.
Now the last one. Brawling away in Margaritaville, fight at restaurant sends guests scurrying.
The other question I was going to ask is how many have the word brawl in them? And Garrett, I can't play this game against you because just because you love these words doesn't really mean anything as to whether they're true or false.
Exactly. Every headline is a true 50-50.
I'll say true because I just don't think a reporter can pass on that opportunity to make a pun with blanking away in Margaritaville.
I couldn't either.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first one, neighbors blame Margaritaville resort construction for rat infestation. You guessed false? That is true. Of course, random condo owners in Florida are going to complain about the construction next door.
I don't like this.
Now the next one, when parrot heads attack, exile in Margaritaville. You said true? That is true.
Okay, 1-1. I'm still in it.
You are. Now the last one, brawling away in Margaritaville. Fight at restaurant sends guests scurrying. You said true, and that is indeed true.
Did I win?
You got to win finally.
Oh my God. I won somewhat recently, but I still feel like just the vast trend of these.
Yeah, like in the beginning, I couldn't win. And then lately, though.
Ooh, that was, set me off to a nervous start with that first wrong guess.
Yeah, but you just, one thing with a headline game with me, you're going to get an infestation, you're going to get a brawl, and you're probably going to get someone arrested.
Great. For our next pick, let's kind of go with a brawl, not in the traditional sense, actually in an overly traditional sense. I want to see some combat while we dine.
Okay.
And we've already done Waffle House.
Yeah.
But I also want a place that is very themed. I want a place that knows what it is and commits to it. Garrett, for our 30th restaurant, I want to go to medieval times.
Yes, that's awesome.
Just a dinner show, jousting, horses, the works.
Medieval times. I haven't been there in maybe like 15, 20 years.
I went 6 years ago, and it was kind of the first time I remember meeting Emma, my cousin, who we took to Chuck E. Cheese. She was like 7 years old at the time and did not say a word the entire time. It was so weird, given that now she just won't shut up. Emma, if you're listening, shouts out, Mr. Worldwide. Live, laugh, love. Awesome. So I hope you're excited. We're going to get a big group together. I'm going to call some people up and we're going to squat down a group at medieval times.
I wonder if they still have the giant turkey legs. So it's a leg on the bone and you eat it. They don't have silverware.
We'll find out. In the meantime, follow us on social media at Fine Dining Podcast on Instagram and on TikTok.
Send us an email, finediningpodcast@gmail.com. Send us artwork, any You Must Bowl suggestions.
We actually got some artwork.
Yes, we did.
We got the milky water from Applebee's on like a carton.
The skimmest milk ever.
Thank you, Logan, for sending that in. That was awesome.
Oh, we've been getting some suggestions, too.
We have been getting some suggestions for the You Must Bowl. So if you have anything that you want to see us do at restaurants for failing to pick something mediocre enough, that could be fun. Just nothing that messes with other people, but you're welcome to mess with us all you want. And of course, support us on Patreon.
Yes.
We're really proud of those episodes. They're very fun. I loved the Portillo's episode that we did.
You got ripped.
Yes, my opinion on Chicago-style hot dogs is not the majority opinion.
No. Alex Borstein had something to say about that.
She did. And this month, you can hear us review the food court in which we met. The food court that was the origin of our relationship, Garrett. We're going to review one item from each of the places in that food court. Thanks so much, everyone, for listening. We really appreciate you. We did not find the most mediocre restaurant. The search does, in fact, continue. We'll see you next time. Have a fine day.
The search continues. We still need the perfect five. The search continues. Like and subscribe. The search continues. Our journey did not conclude. The mother effing search continues. Write us an iTunes review. And hey, while you're at it, why don't you go ahead and make it 5 stars, huh? Come on. Follow us on TikTok, the same on Instagram, all the socials at Fine Dining Podcast. We have a website, finediningpodcast.com. Buy our t-shirts, then put them on. And don't forget, you can always suggest where we go next. Okay, we're going to find it. Mediocrity. The search continues. See you next week. Hurt my throat a little.
Have a fine day.